Hey guys, it's Maria Park here with Approach the Nerd, and we are here at our Charmed After Stream episode. And this episode is my favorite episode of this series to date because so much, and I mean so much, was revealed tonight. So much. I mean, they were not holding a single punch in this episode. For those of you who were not able to catch it tonight, I think some of you said that where you're living, there's a game on. It didn't affect me, so I got to watch it tonight. I was looking at some of the comments, so some people were able to see the episode. If you just popped in, if you wouldn't mind giving a like, that would be awesome. If you want to bail out and potentially watch this tomorrow after you've seen the video, I will not be upset. I get it, because you want to see the episode. This is the episode you want to watch before you get spoiled. But oh my Lord, like, woo. Okay, so let's jump in. So the Perfecti, who I told you guys were the avatars from the OG series. I told you that's what they were. They are effed up. They are effed up. The Perfecti, I think they are so perfect that there's nothing that actually can affect them or challenge them, because why would they? Every decision they make is perfect. Everything they do is perfect. Their Tomb of Chaos is perfect. So they decided that Jordan deserved to be in the Tomb of Chaos with Abigail, basically because guilt by association. If he wasn't a chaotic being, he wouldn't have been in her apartment. That's it. And the reason they got Abigail is because her demon form took over and she went to the Charmed One's house. And it was her demon form that was trying to take out the Charmed Ones, not Abigail. Abigail has had plenty of time to kill the Charmed One since her introduction in season 2. And she just hasn't, because she wasn't trying to kill them. I will say this. I'm sure a lot of people that do not like Abby are going to be in their feelings in this episode, because they aired out all of Abby's dirty laundry in this episode. So the Charmed Ones were given basically a challenge. They had to go to court to prove the innocence of Jordan, and actually not technically Jordan. They had to prove that Abigail was not a chaotic being. And that meant that by association, the same reason he got put in the Tomb of Chaos, he would be let out. Because if she's found to be not chaotic, then he's not chaotic too. So his entire fate is intertwined with whatever happens with Abby. And of course, as you saw in the trailer last week, Macy's like, well, there's a problem with that because she does deserve to be in the Tomb of Chaos. And she kind of held that front a lot in this episode. I will say she did come around a tiny bit, but the one thing she said that kind of was like, wow, Macy, was, basically she compared Abby to Jack the Ripper. And I mean, as someone who's half British, and actually you don't even have to be half British, the chaos and the carnage that Jack the Ripper caused. And that entire analogy was kind of effed up, especially since no matter how you feel about it, Abby did actually help you. She wasn't slitting your throat. But that was really interesting. But again, I have always said this, and the fact that they did this in the mirror is proof that I think I'm right. Macy, it's not just that Abby can do malicious things or can, do things for herself or, does things to help them. And as long as she gets something out of it, Macy is in her feelings because she still thinks that Abigail has feelings for Harry. Because when she started coming around to her feelings for Harry, Abby was all over Harry, and Harry was not initially fighting it. As a matter of fact, Harry was kissing Abigail back. So technically speaking, all of the additional animosity that Macy feels towards Abigail has everything to do with Harry. I'm like, 100%. When she, basically Mel went to go talk to Abigail to try to get her to defend herself. And Abigail's like, why? I'm fine here. The demon side, my demon side's not messing with me. I'm good. I'm where I need to be. So, Mel goes and tells Macy she has no intention of fighting. And Macy, and if we put her on the stand, she's going to be a hostile witness. And Macy's like, I'll show her hostile. So they drink this like potion that smells like feet to get them to go back and forth through the Tomb of Chaos without being affected by it. And so she shows up, and I thought she was going to go down there. They're going to have like a smackdown fight. And she's sitting there showing stuff in the mirror of stuff that they can use in court to make her look good. And Abigail's like, nah, I just did that because I'm evil. I just did this because it benefited me. I only did this because I want to be the overlord. Everything that Macy was trying to show her was backfiring. And then Abigail took the mirror and showed her and Harry kissing. And what did Macy say? Macy said, yeah, well, that ship has sailed. And I'm like, I am telling you guys, Macy has been in her feelings about the whole Abby and Harry thing from day one. So it's not just her mistrust for what Abigail does. It's because she was all over Harry. And I will stand by that. And every time I make that point, something happens. It just proves me more right in my mind. So you don't got to believe me, but it is. And also, did I not tell you that Abigail was in the mail? How many times, how many reviews in season F2 did I say Abigail was in the mail? Now it came out of the horse's damn mouth under a truth serum. So they can't deny that anymore. Mel looked like, oh my God. But notice, if you look at her face, she wasn't grossed out by it. As a matter of fact, in this episode, after everything was said and done, they were right back at the bar again where they were at the end of season 2. I think that was like 2 episodes before the end of season 2, just talking. And Mel never brought it up and was actually being supportive. And Mel even apologized to Abby for calling her irredeemable. I'm just saying, I don't know how many people got on my comments and got in their feelings and were like, Mary, you cray cray. I'm like, from the character's mouth under a truth serum, snap. I'm just saying. You cannot deny it when the character says it her damn self. She said it her damn self. She said, Maggie literally said, why do you always save Mel? You could have left her for dead. She said, because I deeply care for her. And if I have any hope that she feels the same way about me, I have to fight my horrible side to become the girl or person that she believes that I can be. And even Maggie was like, okay, because they weren't expecting that. Like, none of them were expecting that. She was dropping some truth bombs. And let's talk about Abby's mother. Stuff started getting real in this episode when the sister would not come to testify, which I'm starting to see a pattern here. Waverly was 3, and that's when she got accidentally burned. So at 3 years old, you don't know anything about your sibling. All you see is your mother abusing the hell out of this person and your mother calling her evil. We learned a lot more about just how effed up Abigail's mother truly is. This woman was putting shock cuffs on a 2-year-old. She was abusing the hell out of Abby to a level that, I mean, if they have magical CPS, that bitch should have been in jail. I'm just saying. And the way she said, well, it's not uncommon when you deal with these hybrid children. And Abby called it out. You're just mad at me because all you see in me is you basically effing up and sleeping with a demon. That is literally the story there. So yeah, I've always said that all this trauma and stuff and Abigail basically saying, I want any crumb of validation. I mean, guys, it's like they were listening to me. I've been saying this the whole damn time. Woo, in my feelings. All right, so let's jump to some of the other plot points in this. So again, the Perfecti are pretty much the equivalent of the avatars from OG Charmed. I said it from the moment I first saw their dumbasses. I'm sorry. I was like, these people are messed up. They are messed up. And they got some really good actors because I really want to just bitch smack them like all the time. But let's talk about when the Charm ones tried to challenge the Perfecti in this episode. They got in their feelings. So they had this judge, but it's a magical statue. And it was, let me see, I wrote the name down. I want to make sure I did not forget the name of this damn statue. Okay, let's see. The Perfecti, make sure I got it. It's Lady Justicia. So she's a magical, basically magical statue that weighs, one side is innocence, one side is guilt. And what's so interesting to me is that the whole time the Perfecti were prosecuting, of course, Lady Justia was like guilty. But the moment Lady Justia actually listened to what the Charmed One said and said, hey, hold up. Not only have we been chaotic because we caused a lot of chaos, we're the reason that we had to get the source. We're the reason that, all the creatures were let out of the Tomb of Chaos. We were chaotic. Jordan was affected by us because of the chaotic stuff we did. And then by proxy, what you're doing is also chaotic. When the Charmed Ones told the Perfecti that they were chaotic and Lady Justia actually put guilty on them, they went Super Saiyan. They lost their damn mind. They blew up the statue. And the Charmed Ones literally had to use a power 3 versus the Perfecti and blasted them. Now, of course, they didn't kill them. They probably teleport because we see them at the end. It more than likely teleported away. They obviously were not destroyed, but they were able to use the power 3 enough to basically release Abigail and Jordan from the Tomb of Chaos. But now I'm wondering if they released everything from the Tomb of Chaos, because they literally said they don't think anything deserves to be in the Tomb of Chaos. And so I don't know. That may come back to bite them in the ass. Because again, the one thing about the Charmed Sister is they do a lot of good, but they also do things when they don't think, and it ends up somebody suffers. Like when they gave Jimmy the potion that made him be a good guy, basically the serum that everybody around him thought he was a great guy. Well, he got to use that, and then ended up killing his boss and said, I'm a good guy, So, they didn't think that could have been a very bad decision, because he could have literally become a world dictator and nobody would fight him because everybody in his presence would think he was a good guy because of that potion. So they don't think completely. It's like they have a good idea, but they don't connect the dots and they don't do an outline. So it's like, this little statement about none of the creatures or nothing actually being inside of the Tomb of Chaos is probably going to come back to bite them in the ass. And we know for a fact that the Perfecti are going to come back to bite them in the ass, because we saw them come back for the tablet. And they said, basically, they're going to end up killing them like they've done the other Charmed Ones. And it sounded plural. So to me, it sounds like all of these sisters were killed by the Perfecti. And they always said one sister is attacked. And I saw the preview for next week, and one sister is killed. And Mel is the one that's being psychically attacked, and they're going to blow her mind up or something like that. And so one thing I will say, I bet you she's really glad to be in that role because she's pregnant in real life. So she gets to lay in bed a lot. So that might've been why her character was picked to be the one that they went after, instead of, Maggie, who, actually has more powers that are aligned in with psionic abilities. So, but I thought it was interesting that it's actually the Perfecti that has been killing the Charmed Ones the entire time. Like probably the whole lineage or whole lines of Charmed Sisters have been taken out by the Perfecti. And it's just these Charmed Ones' turn. So, man. In my feelings today. We saw that Harry was going to Celeste to help him end his immortality. So that's how the episode started. So I thought we were going to get a little bit more of that in this one, but I guess because the trial was this big, encompassing thing, we didn't have enough time to put him in. So we're going to get that next week, more than likely. Or maybe parts of it. I don't know. But yeah, this episode, man. I mean, Macy learned that Abby took her powers, which is so interesting because I thought they knew that because, okay, so basically what happened was, in season 2, they went to this town and there was a little girl who basically had powers like Mel, where she was able to stop time. And of course, Julian's people or Aunt Viv's people were coming to get her because they try and get everyone with powers. And I remember Abby, and they even showed it in an episode, and trying in the court, her setting all of the guards, the bad people, on fire. But for some reason that made her chaotic, even though she was doing it for good in a way. I guess because she ended up killing people. It was bad. But Harry saw her use this fire ability. So did he just not tell them? Did he not go home and be like, so I just wanted to let you know, Macy, that firepower you used to have, Abigail sure up told she took it from you and she's using it, and I saw her use it. I don't know why he didn't communicate that, because Macy, this is like the first time Macy's heard of this. I'm like, you guys don't communicate worth shit. Don't communicate worth shit. I'm like, the charm one's biggest flaws is they don't talk to each other or other people for that matter. Let me tell you how I was in my feelings about baby Jordan. I felt so effing bad for Jordan, because he was only there because he was trying to help Abby. He was only there because he's always wrapped up in the charm ones. And when I knew, this is how I knew something was going to happen. I thought it was going to be that he was going to tell Maggie he didn't want to be with her. I didn't know he was going to straight up leave. But I knew that this was what was going to happen. Because do you remember the episode in OG Charmed, if you watch the original Charm, where Phoebe and Paige and Piper are trying to save Daryl's life? Because he's in tribunal, and they were going to kill him. And Phoebe ended up giving up her active abilities, and basically her premonitions were back to season 1 premonitions, where she couldn't control it. But because of that, it affected Daryl to the point where he didn't want to help them anymore. He wanted nothing to do with magic. I feel like this episode is pretty much a morphed version, or like a rewritten version of that OG episode in Charmed. The only difference is that the Charmed ones technically weren't on trial by Barnabas. It was actually them trying to save Jordan, and by proxy, Abby, from the Perfecti and the Tomb of Chaos. But I mean, it is literally the same episode to me. And because of that, when I saw how they were showing Jordan, how he's always being selfless, always helping the charm ones, always, saving their ass at the expense of him potentially getting harmed or potentially killed, I knew when he saw that on the screen, even though he was out of it because he'd been in the tomb, that when they brought him back, there was no way he was not going to be mentally affected by that. I mean, we're talking about a man who went from being, well, not even say went from, he was in Afghanistan, so had PTSD, and then was cursed, and then broke the curse, and forced to face his PTSD. And now you throw him into a magical jail where he can't ever escape. And the more he tries to escape, the crazier he gets, and the more he regresses and just literally doesn't know where the hell he is, what time it is, doesn't know his name, doesn't know anybody. At one point, he thought that Maggie was his, the girlfriend we saw in the episode where we had, when Josefina sent them to his high school. I think her name was Trish or something like that. He saw his high school girlfriend. And then when Maggie came back again, he was even littler and was asking why his daddy wasn't coming home. I mean, it was sad. And then you put him in this situation, and then you set him free. And of course he's effed up. And the first thing Jordan did was like, I'm leaving. He's giving up his internship at the law firm that he worked his ass for. Like, he worked his ass off for that. He's giving up his job at Safe Space. He's leaving his other friends. He's leaving everything because he can't handle it. And that's exactly what happened to Daryl in OG Charmed. He couldn't handle it. And what's so messed up about it is, and I knew it was going to go down like this. Maggie was finally going to tell him that she wanted him. And he's like, I have family in Colorado. I'm out. I got to get away for a little while. And I don't know if I'm coming back. And I'm like, oh my guys, this episode. I was in my feelings. But yeah, so technically speaking, the charm ones, just like in the OG, technically they lost the it's not a tribunal. They lost the court case. I guess that's what we're calling it. But the charm ones were like, F that. We're just gonna blast you. Like, they're trying to put Jordan back into, the Tomb of Chaos. Nope. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to come back from this one, because now they made an even more powerful enemy. The only white lighter that can heal them when they get hurt is about to become mortal. They can't touch each other. So, I mean, it's like, but maybe when you kill the Perfecti, maybe everything that they've done becomes undone. But then how will that affect the charm line? This is really weird. Like all of this, I really need to go back and really think about the Charmed lore in this show, because it makes it seem like their power comes from, the tree and the black amber, but that the Charmed legacy actually comes dated far back to the Perfecti. So like if that's the case, does that mean the Perfecti actually created the Charmed ones? This is it's a thing, guys. It's a thing. We also got more proof that the elders are just shady as shit. And I need to know if their mother was one of the ones that gave advice to Abigail's mother, because apparently she went to the elders about Abigail and they were instructing her. Now, I don't think the elders told her to go torture the hell out of her 2-year-old, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. I feel like, I mean, and they've kind of shown that they can be, some of them can be heartless as hell. So I mean, I can't say that they didn't say it. I mean, they literally made white lighters in a very horrible way. So I mean, I don't know. But that makes me wonder if Marisol was one of the ones that Abigail's mother went to. What a weird coincidence, if that is what happened. I don't know. I'm telling you guys, this entire episode was absolutely effing sane. Like it was insane. I did not go into tonight's episode thinking that all of this crap was going to happen. I did not think we were going to see Abigail's backstory. I didn't think that we were going to have Mel apologize for calling Abby irredeemable. I did not think we were going to have a Macy Abby mini confrontation. And I didn't like the whole scene at the bar where, Abigail basically, Mel says, I think you know what you need to do. And I apologize. I think that you can redeem yourself. And she said, that means a lot coming from you. And then Mel's like, I think you know what to do, because she didn't know how to redeem herself. And then you see Mel go to Macy and say, I have something of yours and I'm going to do everything I can to give it back, AKA her fire or demon powers, basically her fire pills. So that tells me that it seems like Macy maybe half demon again, or get her demon blood and demon powers back again. And that's an interesting spin, which would be ironic because, again, Paige was half white light or half witch. Having Macy get back to being a hybrid as well. And I think the way Abigail's mother was talking about hybrid children, and they focused on, Macy's face, and Macy was like, oh, you can see on her face. She's like, okay, hold up. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, wait a minute, you saying some shiz. By the way, I need to look up the actress for Abigail's mother. That woman had bitch face like nobody's business. I was so happy that they cast somebody who, to me, looked like they could be Abigail's mother, but like on a scale that was like supernatural. That woman was like effing. If anybody was, Jack the Ripper, it's Mama. She is crazy. She is absolutely a horrible human. She, as Mel said, your mama was a monster. I'm like, a effing monster. But yeah. It's just this episode, guys. I mean, it was a lot to process and compartmentalize. I can talk today, guys. All right, so I'm gonna go and we're gonna look at some of the questions and comments you guys have. I am seeing a bunch of people saying, "How did you watch this?" So it aired normally for me on the CW. I was recording it on my DVR, and I always like let it record for 10 minutes, and I just fast forward through all the commercials. So I watched it normally. I do think that someone said, a few of you said there was a game playing. And so maybe for some of you in your area that aired this game, maybe this episode will play for you tomorrow. So you might want to check your listings, because I don't know what to tell you on that. Or you can wait till, I guess, midnight and try and catch it on the CW app. If you're able to do it that way. But yeah, it's a thing, guys. So let me get to the first comment. Oh, yeah. See, 2 people already said this. Where I am, there was a game on, and it's not for me either. It's baseball. Okay. So where I live, it didn't air baseball. I'm sorry. So I don't know what to say because of the baseball game and PCT. So this week and next week's Charmed will be on Saturday. Okay. Good to know. So hopefully, I don't want you guys to leave, but at the same time, I don't want to spoil anything because I've been talking a lot about the episode. So I understand if you're not able to be in here right now. Macy getting her demon powers back. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know any other way of her getting her powers back. I mean, how are you going to give them to Macy without her being a demon again, or half demon again? Which technically she's not half demon, but she's got demon blood. It's such a weird thing. And there is Avatar story. I told you. I remember when I first saw them and I put it in the stream. I need to go back and find the comments. And then there were a few people in there saying, no, it's not the Avatar. They're probably, I'm like, nope, they are damn Avatars. They were no good because this series of Charmed tries to separate itself, but they use the same storylines and they morph it into something different. They've always done this. Like if you look at how many times we, in the Charmed universe that the girls change careers. Macy's changed careers. Mel basically is like Piper going back and forth to what she loves, and hers is teaching and Piper's was cooking. Because if you think about it, Piper worked at a bank, then she was assistant to a chef, then she worked at a restaurant, Quake, then she opened her own club, and then in the last episode, we saw she went right back to cooking again. So for Mel, it's activism and teaching, and for Piper, it was cooking. Then we have Prue, who was a curator at an art museum, and then she wanted to get into photojournalism. Well, we have Macy, who's a scientist, but is also now really get into the role of running Safe Space. And so they're always changing careers. And then, of course, Maggie's going to school for psychology. Phoebe went to school for psychology. So they keep things along the same lines, but they are their own series. And I think that's really interesting. And then you'll find parallels across the board that are very similar, but sometimes twisted, are morphed in a different way. So it's not the same thing, but at the same time it is. It's very weird. Like, and I guess technically Josefina could be Billy. And maybe she's got a sister. I don't know. Or Abigail could be filling the role as Billy and then have her sister Willow be Christy, And Waverly, I don't know why the heck I said Willow. Waverly could be literally like Christy and actually be evil. We have no idea what Waverly is like. She could have grown up bitter for being burned so young. We have no idea. So yeah, it's a thing. Let's see. Let me move down a little bit. I'm dead. Don't be dead. I have no words for this episode. I'm telling you that this episode was on point. It really was. Can we just appreciate the episode though? I'm just going to tell you, this is my favorite episode of Charmed since season 1 began, because it has been the most revealing. I love the fact that the Charmed ones admitted that Abby did help them. And yeah, Macy did say, oh, you only did this because you were going to get something out of it. But when they had the truth serum and they started asking why she was really helping Harry, why she really helped Mel, why she really did this, she said the Charmed ones, if they had died, it would disturb the balance between, of the natural or the magical world. And it would basically be overrun by demons. So, I'm just saying. I was not expecting to show all that out there at once and just roll with it like that. Honestly, there's a lot to unpack. There is. I did not expect. I literally thought this episode was going to be like an episode where it was just like, oh, everyone's going to hate on Abby, and then it's going to be a big debate. Do we leave her there? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I really hope they don't do that, because that would really suck. Because I really think that she is redeemable. And then seeing her mom and seeing what a bitch she is. She is a horrible mother. She's horrible. And I don't know, guys. I really just dislike everything about her mom and everything. I don't like child abusers in general. So like that just rings, as a mother, it just makes me upset. But so yeah, it's a thing. Poppy Drayton. Yeah, I've loved Poppy since I saw her in the Shannara Chronicles. I love her actress in general. But yeah, I love Abigail. I really do. And I do think that Abigail should redeem herself for the murder she's committed and for the things that she's done. But I don't think she's to the level of Jack the Ripper, so it's just really weird. The acting was on point. Yep. I mean, you got to see everybody in their feelings. I love when Macy was like saying all this and she called her Abigail Jack the Ripper, and Mel was like, she's good-ish. It's like Mel can call her irredeemable, but nobody else can do it. Like the perfecti don't like anyone flawed. I know. And they're the most flawed. And that's the weird thing. They are flawed themselves. So like, and they got mad when even, Lady Justia just like literally said guilty at the fact that they were also being chaotic. So they decided to just be in their feelings and have a toddler tantrum and blow up the statue. And I'm like, what? What? So yeah, they I didn't get to watch it yet, but I'm going to listen anyway. Madam Scorpio, I am so sorry. I hope that, let me put it to you this way. Even though I've done this review, I didn't do a straight recap, and I do that intentionally in case somebody wants to go back and watch something. I don't want to be a person that's like, and then they did this, and then they moved their arm here, and then they did that. It's boring. So I'd rather just talk and pull things out and talk about what I think and then read what you guys think than do a straight recap. So there are things I have not said about this episode, and I'm probably not going to, because I realize that people like to tell it in the comments. So that is what we're doing. Person Nerd, are we living our Poison Ivy, aka Josephina life? Yes, we are. I had to whip out the red hair today. Just had to do it. The perfecti are the whole malicious plot. I literally predicted this from the start. Why else introduce two people who only see the world in black and white? Yep. As Mel says, you don't see context. I think all of the girls were saying that to them. I mean, there's no context for them. They don't care the reasoning. They just see the actions and they're like, oh, you did it. You bad. Like, practically imperfect perfecti. Yep. That's what they are. This episode made me even more of an Abby fan. Yep. I mean, and I love the range of emotions. She can go from smug to effing depressed and like she almost looks suicidal at points. When she was sitting on the couch with Macy and being all smug, and then her mom was in her head and making her go on the crate, and she's like literally rocking back and forth like she's about to have a nervous breakdown. That's acting. I was in my, even Macy was like, wait, what just happened? I'm like, Macy admitting she was wrong towards the end of this was really surprising for me, because she literally never admits she's wrong. I know people get on me about that. I don't hate Macy, but I call every character out on their shit. I'm sorry, I do. I am that reviewer, and Macy gets in her feelings, and she is hard to talk to when she's angry. Like, people say that she doesn't have an angry side or doesn't have like anger management issues, and I'm telling you, she does. She really does. Because she gets upset or gets on a tangent or gets frustrated, and it comes out, and it's almost like her demon blood is still in her, and it's not. So that's not even an excuse. That is Macy. And I remember when we saw Dexter, and she was the episode where, she got to see her mom in the flashback, and we saw Harry and they were on the side of the curtains or whatever. And she was singing at the bar, and, her dad was trying to ask her where she was, and she got an attitude, and he's like, little girl. I'm like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, I'm telling you, that is Macy. Macy can be very kind-hearted, very sweet. She's brilliant, but I'm going to call it like I see it. She has a little bit of Lynn in her from Black Lightning, and that's just what it is. Macy so territorial. We saw this with Harry and Marisol, and she practically almost vanquished Gavin's innocent girlfriend and wished Mel away. I know. They don't see it. I don't know why people don't see it when they get mad. They do not see it. You think I get crap now? You wait till Motherland Port Salem starts, and if Scylla doesn't start showing some redemption, and I start saying something about it, people are gonna come for me. But again, I separate fantasy from reality, so I'm an adult, so you can do it, and it's fine. I don't care if you come for me or not. I really don't. I kind of find it amusing. Also, there was the alternative timeline thing that Macy saw with Abigail in it. Yep. Well, I love what I wish had happened is that you get to see things from Abby's perspective. So like when you see the scene where she's helping Harry locate, Macy because Jimmy kidnapped her, and you're walking through Harry's mind, we got to see his other family reference again. I'm like, by the way, do you remember when I was in your head and I saw your other family? Like the wife you cheated on, can you ever had a son with him, and then you just have a whole other family somewhere else? Yeah. Okay. Do you remember that? Okay. Let's talk about that in my tribunal. They don't ever talk about that. Never talk about that. How did Macy not know that Abby stole her powers? My question isn't obvious. That's what I'm saying. And why, if she wasn't there when she used the power in front of Harry, why in the hell didn't Harry say something? Because he knew, he effing knew, he was right there when she killed them. She used the fire to burn them all up. What in the hell does he not know that? Oh, I'm telling you, it's because they don't talk to each other. We talked about this last season, how they were in the room long enough to have conversations so anything could go down and nobody knew what was happening because they don't effing talk to each other. So that to me is a writing F up, because they should have known. Macy should have known she had those damn powers. There's no way that she should not have known. So yeah, that Why does Macy even care Abby took her powers? She didn't even want it because they're mine. And I didn't give you permission, even though you took them out of my body. Mine. Everybody knows Abigail's in the Mel. They challenge each other. They really do. I love them together. I don't like her with Ruby. And Ruby is gorgeous. She's sweet. She's intelligent, but she doesn't like the magical world. She doesn't want anything to do with the charm ones. And that she went into witchness protection to not be a witch. She doesn't use her powers because she doesn't like them. If they offered her a magical cure to take her powers away, Ruby would jump on it. And that is not who Mel is. Mel, it seems like most of her identity is tied up in being a witch. So how does that work? I don't understand that. I just don't get that at all. It's the fact that Ruby wasn't even in this episode for me. Mel was just sitting there like, She was like, She looked a little shocked, but then she didn't look grossed out. And then when they were at the bar, and Mel was sitting there, and it's like she didn't bring it up. She didn't go up and be like, so you dig it. You're like, you into me, right? You got those wet dreams, Abby? Like, she didn't say anything. She said, I'm sorry. I'm like, so that is not closing the door to this. But again, so many of us have been saying since season 2, second half of season 2, that Abby was into Mel. I literally liked them from the moment they were bantering at the beginning of season 2. I think episode 3 that she was in. I thought they were cute together. And then when we saw Abby in bed with 2 women, we're like, okay, she swings both ways. That's cool. So that's fine. She would be into Mel. Every time, and Maggie called it out, every time Mel was in a situation where she could have been killed, like when she was in the prison and Abby basically was able to get out and then came back for her. She could have left her down there when they went to the apartment to get something to help, Macy find Harry. They were in the, basically the demons that were in Abby's apartment were downstairs and they came back. Abby could have left because they came in an Uber, and Mel literally said, at least you can like basically shimmy or whatever out of here. I can't do that. I don't have my powers. And she's like, don't tempt me. But she didn't leave her there, and she helped her get out. And then when they had the little containment thing that Harry was in that came through the portal, which they showed Abby literally catch it in midair with her telekinesis because it was going to hit her and Mel. She is always saving Mel. It is stupid not to see it. It's stupid. When Mel said that she was irredeemable, if you go back and watch that episode, look at Abby's face. It is like the most devastating look I've seen that character do, period. And I mean, I'm talking worse than her talking about her dad killing her, her mom torturing her. It's when Mel called her irredeemable and said, you're not worth it. So yeah, I agree. There is still hope for Mel and Abby. Abby got truthed. She did. I like when she realized that that she was spiked, and she should have known. Maggie wasn't going to ask her for alcohol, but she wouldn't got her this fancy wine, and in return, she got truthed. I'm like, but it worked in her favor because now all the charm ones knew everything that she was saying was true. She can't lie because it was a truth serum. So they needed it. And the fans of this show needed that to happen, because if she just said it and she didn't have a truth serum given to her by a charmed one, they'd be like, nah, she's just lying. But now that it is a truth serum, no take backs. No take backs. I literally thought this plot was in shambles until this episode. Yep. This is a redeeming factor for me. The fact that they are now letting Abby redeem herself and they are now working towards accepting it. Now, if they 180 this shit, guys, you're not gonna want to be on my stream. Like, because I don't get irrationally angry at like imaginary content, but I do get upset or annoyed at writers. And it's always a writing issue for me. And if you literally set something up and then you 180 it, that tells me that either your writers have changed and you guys aren't doing continuity, or you just suck. Like, it's just what it is. Macy is getting her powers back. Abby said it, and it's the Macy fandom's best wish. I mean, I've always thought she should keep her demon blood. I thought it made her more interesting, but I don't know. Ready for an Abby and Mel edit. I am. Look, I'm here for it. I think having a Ruby, Abby, Mel triangle would be interesting. I'd be rooting for Abby, though, because, again, I like Ruby, but when she and Mel are together, for me, this is a personal opinion, they are boring. It's just boring to me. I need Ruby to find someone that matches her. I don't want her to be a character that's not on the show. I think she's a very good supporting character that they don't do a lot with, except to make her make googly eyes at Mel, which is very weird. But she's a very good character. It's just like Jada. I really like Jada. I thought Jada had a lot of potential, and I felt like how they used that character was shit. So, she had pretty good, chemistry with Mel, and then she was just gone. So I don't know. I am worried, though, because we got to see finally what we've been saying the whole damn time, and I'm really worried they're going to backtrack and 180 this. It's going to make me so mad. Hi, Chastian. How are you? I knew the Perfecti were bad. Yep. Everybody knew. They are the avatars from OG Charmed. Yep. Get the thumbs up, please. We like people to know where we are. There's something wrong with the YouTube algorithm, I've noticed, because whenever I do a live stream, even if I set it 4 hours in advance, and you click the notification bell and do all, it still doesn't tell everybody that I'm doing a live stream. I don't know what that's about. They're saying if you like the video, then people will know when you do it, or at least they get put in priority of the thumb. I don't know. It's a YouTube Google thing. I don't know. It's weird. just saying. It will not only will it help my channel, it will help when I actually post live streams and videos. That's what I'm learning now. This is something that's new, I guess. The Perfecti had the audacity to send Abby back to the tomb after defending the fact that she was abused. That is so messed up. I know. And the mother was sitting there with that smug look on her face. I just wanted to smack the hell out of her. Magical CPS. I can see that becoming a thing. I would love to see how what that would be like. I can imagine somebody showing up like Legends of Tomorrow, just pop it in and be like, "Hey, we heard you're messing with your child." And just have like Mick just shoot everybody. Like, well, we have an answer for that. We had to kill your parent. Like, they were no good. Sorry, you're better off. This episode was worse than I thought for Abby's mother. I thought she was just shred and neglectful, and this was way worse. This was a magical version of Precious. It was. 2 years old and putting shock freaking cuffs on her. Maria, please review Modoc. It's so good. Okay, I have to figure out what that is. I want a Pandora box situation, and these got to be the worst charm ones in. They so short-sighted and emotional. Yeah, the charm ones are the Scarlet Witches of Chaos. You know what? That is really true. That's true. I will say, though, Maggie was smart using the truth serum. It's always interesting to me that we have a scientist who's extremely logical in Macy. We have an activist that's supposed to see all sides of arguments, and she's a professor, supposed to also very, very, very intensely work off of critical thinking. But it's always Maggie that has to come up with everything. And she's like the youngest. And yes, she's taking psychology. She has panic attacks and anxiety disorder, and she's the one trying to figure everything out. And I'm like, this is crazy to me. What do we do now, Maggie? Why are you asking her? Like, I want Prue. Where the hell is Prue? So were the Perfecti in the tomb as prisoners as well? Could be. They could be lying. Well, but the way they said it, though, was they were the ones that keep order. They're the ones that keep everything perfect, and they took out the charm ones. So when the charm ones don't listen to them, I guess they're no longer perfect. It's really weird. It's just weird. It's crazy. I love your name, Telekinesis, Aerokinesis. That's a very cool name. I made it. Hi, Blue Savior. Maria, please review MODOK. You are really into this show, Matt. You're going to have to put that in the comments. I won't remember that. So put that below and I'll check it out and see what it's about. I will say that I watched all of my Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous today, and I'm going to be watching Army of the Dead tonight. So I can hopefully get a review out on that because I love zombie movies. So, and it's the new one on Netflix, the new Zack Snyder movie. I like the trailer, so I'm going to check that out after the stream. The Perfecti are evil. They should be vanquished by the power of 3. They tried. they tried. Harry is half a spirit, so I wonder if this is even possible without absorbing Jimmy. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm worried that Celeste is going to try to do this, and it's going to end up him being split into him and Jimmy again, or Jimmy will be the white lighter, and Harry will be the human. Or Harry will age and be 300 years old or 100 and whatever years old, and then we'll have, Macy engaged to somebody who's about to die. Kind of like Leo did when he aged really quickly in the OG series. And it's really weird. The Perfecti changed their minds real quick. They were like, oh, you can do no wrong because you're charmed. And then they were just like, yeah, let's just kill them. Yep. Because the charm ones were coming for them. See, they were all good when they weren't coming for them. But as soon as they started saying, oh, well, we think you are the problem, they're like, oh, no, hold up. Just like with Lady Justicia, they're like, oh, she's a magical statue. Wait, the magical statue says we're wrong? Oh, no, you got to go. That's basically what happened. What's Harry going to do about his mortality now that the Perfecti is trying to kill them? Good question. Why didn't they call Harry as a character witness? I know he was off doing his thing, but I mean, the situation was dire. Why didn't they call their white lighter? Huh. I was crying to save Abby. So was I. I'm like, you better not leave her in there. The power of 3 should be used to vanquish the Perfecti. I think that they have to do something more than the power of 3. I think they're going to have to create a spell. We might be talking some OG charm stuff, like write your own spell to take out the Perfecti, or find an ancient spell that the elders have to take out the Perfecti. Because I don't think that the elders did not know who the Perfecti are. That doesn't make any sense to me. I was sobbing this whole episode. Yeah, it was almost like watching a child abuse court. Like how how did they not know Abby stole her powers in season 2? That's something we just keep saying in this. I don't actually know. I don't understand, because I keep seeing the scenes where she would use the fire. And I remember early in the season, I think I even said this a long time ago in a review. I'm like, I thought she was only able to create fireballs or light fire or whatever, but she wasn't able to, she had to take a source. So if it's like a candle, she can make something out of that. But if there's no fire source around, that she couldn't use it. But yet, of course, Macy was able to just generate fire. And when she got the ability, all of a sudden she can just use fire. And no one thought that was suspicious. Nobody ever thought, how are you able to do that now? And why didn't Harry say anything? I don't understand. I don't understand. That is a writing boo-boo. That's what that is. Wait, this whole time Abby has the power siphon dagger they saw used on Hunter, and Macy asked her to use it on her. She didn't think it worked the same way that she got her powers, according to the writers. I mean, of all the bad things they thought she did, they didn't think she would take the powers. I don't know. Maggie didn't even hug him goodbye. She was trying not to cry. She was in her feelings. Maggie and Jordan are just going to have the longest slow burn in the history of the CW. You know what? No, you're right. Because I'm going to say hasty, but you're right. You're absolutely correct. And this was coming with Jordan because him and Maggie are way too easy right now. They need turmoil. Yeah. Well, and then it makes you wonder, what about Antonio? Is he going to be the rebound guy? Is that why she's having visions of having sex with him and him rubbing her or touching her face? Is he the rebound? Oh, poor guy. I don't know if anyone here practices witchcraft, but if you cast spells, you better know what you're doing because there are always consequences. It doesn't matter if it's black or white magic. Yeah, I've never cast spells or had paganism or know of paganism. I have friends that are pagan, and I have no problem with that. My dad, he's half Native American, half black. He's completely black, but his father is Apache. So I did grow up with a sort of belief in spiritual magic, because if you know anything about Native tribes, there is a lot of magic within each tribe, all different. And so I know a lot about the Amalo and a bunch of other things. So I do know that there are consequences to everything that you do, magic or actions. So it's gonna bite him in the ass. And just like I said, just by what they did in terms of freeing Abigail and Jordan, what else did they free? Because they said nothing should be in the Tomb of Chaos, and that is problematic because I think there are things in there that should be. So they might have just opened Pandora's box again. I thought we were going to cut to what Jordan was with Abby that night, but they didn't. I'm a little peeved, but Jordan's such a victim of the charm ones. They finally admitted it. Everybody is a victim of the charm ones. Everybody. When Abby was like making excuses for why she was helping, especially when Mel was like, she went to the future and was my timekeeper. Oh, I did that to save my own skin. It's like she read the comments on different videos. I was like, what are the fans saying? I do things like, oh, they think I only do that because of this. It's almost like they literally trolled all the trolls in the script. I thought that was funny. But yeah, Jordan is just he's just abused. Jordan's gonna borrow from the rest of Arrowverse and become a witch hunter and hunt Meta as a magical gene people. No, he doesn't want to be cursed again. Abby's basically Regina from Once Upon a Time. Yeah, I can see that. I also, the CW has this way of making me upset in terms of queer representation and longevity. I mean, yes, we have Anissa and Grace and Black Lightning, but to be fair, they are comic book canon. So they're even together now. So they can't really trash that relationship. But like every relationship that I like really get into besides Ava and Sarah, if you are queer or gay, even if it's two men, it seems like something always rips it apart. That is notorious on Riverdale. So we're never going to talk about Riverdale. They are bad to gays and lesbians, period. They just are. The relationships are so dysfunctional as hell. So I don't really subscribe to that. Nancy Drew does the same thing. Bess is literally the only queer character, and she's like the flakiest person in that whole damn show. And literally they wrote a perfect character for her to be with that she treated like trash and was never really in the episodes with her and had no remorse when she broke up with her, even though she loved her so much. And it's just like they always treat their queer characters this way. And I'm so sick of the whole thing with Mel, because Mel is the only technically queer character in this Charmed universe. She was the only lesbian in the entire series from the inception of this show. When they started announcing what it was going to be, they said it was going to be Latinx, and they said that they were going to have their first, lesbian character for queer representation. And the show is not Latinx. They have one Latinx character, two women who are supposed to be half Latinx, but are not. And then the one lesbian they have on the show cannot keep a stable relationship to save her damn soul. Like, cannot. Every relationship she has ends up horrible. And I'm tired of it. So I'm saying this because the two groups of people, or two couples that I am shipping right now, are Ava and Sarah on Legends of Tomorrow. And right now, Ryan and Joe on Kung Fu. These are my two baby ships that I don't want anybody to touch. And I feel like they're going to F them up. And I'm so worried if we get Abigail and Mel together, they will do something to F that up too. They'll make it a whole Phoebe and Cole thing. And I will not get over that. So I don't know. I'm in my feelings about that. Watch him drop the whole storyline of Abby struggling with her demon side. Probably, or it'll be 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I read a book. More PTSD for Jordan from the Tomb of Chaos. Watch them not even mention it when he comes back on screen. That is probable. Let's see. Maybe that would be awesome. Facts on facts, positive or negative. Where did you watch this? We watched it on the CW because it aired for us here. It may air for you guys on Saturday if you didn't get to see it today. Didn't Galvin do something similar in season 1? What? Can you refresh me? What are you talking about? I'm sorry. It didn't show on CW because of baseball. Okay. I am really sorry. I knew it was airing for me. And I just didn't realize that it would be interrupted. But that has happened to me before. I've watched other CW shows and like basketball will come on, and we have a lot of Tiger games here, and it'll interrupt because it's local. So, but if this seems to be something on a national scope, I don't know why we didn't get it. I mean, I have Xfinity Comcast, so maybe they didn't get the game. I don't know. This Charmed is crazy. Yes, it is. Not saying it's bad. No, I know what you're saying. You get in your feelings every week because of this show. Fans get like rabid. They were like, I swear to God, like I'm always like, should I say how I feel about Macy, what Macy's doing right now, or am I going to get a lot of flack for this? And then I realized the kind of reviewer I am, and I'm like, I don't care. But it makes you have up and down emotions on every part of the storyline. Like even right now, the whole thing with Marisol, we learned that she is a cheater. She was an elder. She didn't tell the truth. She took the Book of Shadows. They're making Marisol out to be a damn villain. And we have no idea why. We have no backstory as to why in the hell Marisol did half of the shit she did. We don't know why. And it's just weird. It's really weird. Daryl wasn't in hell, which he was basically in for God knows how long she didn't even give him the box. No, ma'am, he can be in his feelings. He was so far up Antonio's massive listening biceps. I'm done with you. They want to know the statue was on Innocent. The Perfecti blew it up. True. And also the statue was doing guilty for the Perfecti. I don't know if you caught that when they were saying you're chaotic. And then it was like the thing started moving to guilty. And that's when they started getting mad. They're like, wait a minute. No non-perfect beings are going to tell us perfect beings that we're wrong. We are not wrong. We don't even entertain the idea of being wrong. I'm like, okay. This episode was so good that I won't lie. I was hooked every second of it. I was too. I mean, when I was watching, I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, is this happening right now? Is this real life? Gavin didn't want anything to do with Tissot after it beat possession. Oh yeah, he did. He actually told Macy he didn't, want to be involved in magic at all. That's true. That is true. Gavin did do that. Huh. Charm ones. Charm ones. Hi, Nicholas. The Perfecti have some issues to work through. I'm pretty sure at the end they mentioned previous charm ones wronging them. Don't know if I heard that correctly. They didn't say wrong them. They said destroyed them. They said, because he said, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, we're going to destroy the charm ones just like the others. So that means they have killed other charm ones. And when we had that whole speech last season from the guardian of the tree or whatever, I forgot her name, when she was like, there's always been a generation of charm ones and they always lose a sister. And then we see the trailer next week, we see Mel, which is so ironic because I remember one of the theories that people were saying on my stream was that because she had on red nail polish and was touching the book and it was Mel, it signified that she would be the sister that died. And then the point got kind of stressed forward again when we went to the future and we saw Mel's grave, meaning she was the one that was destined to die. And so that's why she was going to go sacrifice herself for the source. But then her sisters came and then they all took on the load. And they got their little magical allergy. And now the Perfecti are attacking Mel. So it does seem like Mel is the weakest link in this factor. But I think that they kill the charm ones by killing one of the sisters. And that's exactly what they're doing. So really what the magical guardian of the tree was saying is correct. One of the sisters is always destined to die because of the Perfecti. So if they can overcome that, then I guess they change their destiny. I love how these charm ones don't have to touch each other like the OG girls to access the power of 3. It's a good thing, too, that they didn't establish that. They'd never be able to use it. Where did you guys watch it tonight? CW. Damn elders. Like Let's see. I think the charm ones and the perfecti are co-equal powers or branches in the magical community. The perfecti are like judicial and the charm ones, the executive branch. I think actually it's the other way around. I think the perfecti believe they're the executive branch and the charm ones are judicial. Like, because the charm ones actually want to have justice. They want to have a fair balance. And the perfecti are like, nah, we in charge. We say no. We're right. Screw you. That's literally what it is. I feel like we always know the elders were flawed, even from season 1 events. Yep. And Marisol was an elder. So maybe to qualify, you just have to do really shady stuff. You never know with the elders. They're capable of anything. This is true. I love that analysis. You're totally right. Ray, you are totally right. Celeste has zero fucks about consequences. She really doesn't. But I mean, she doesn't have any consequences. We saw when she gave up the timepiece to Mel for like, what, 2 hours or whatever. We were thinking, oh, she's giving her life up. She's making a sacrifice. And we're like, Mel came back and gave it to her and there was like no consequence. She didn't even have a wrinkle. I don't know what the hell was happening. What was the point of giving away the timepiece that keeps you young and pretty much immortal at this point and sustains your life if there are no consequences? So yeah, Celeste is an anomaly. There was baseball. Am I missing something? It aired for people where they did not get the baseball game, Buenos Lane. So if you didn't get the baseball game in your area, we got our regular Charmed. If you do have the baseball game in your area, then more than likely it will air for you on Saturday. I feel like I work for networks right now because I keep saying that. Oh, sorry. Round of applause. The episode was fire. Yes, it was. You were supposed to watch it on Prime. Watch what on Prime? I'm confused. What coast are you on and where are you? So Bueno, Gerard wants to know where you are. I love how you're helping each other. I feel like there should be like a support group when you can't watch Charmed. Let's see. Sorry. Jumped up a little bit. So let me move down. Okay. I cut off some of your message. I'm sorry, Nicholas, because let's be honest, the charm ones in the OG, the girls' older methods of finding innocence and higher level demons weren't working, only to find them way too late. They went to Billy, who thought outside the box like a true witch to find a solution to the problem. True. I guess Maggie is a hybrid of that too. I don't know. It's weird. I hope they don't rush Abby's plot. They better not. They better not. I want to see her in a long flowing green Celtic dress with flowers on her head, parting the mist of Avalon to welcome her lady. Let me live my nerd life. I mean, if my spouse will go for that, probably not. But I will tell you, as someone who was raised by a woman born and raised in Scotland, I do have a long Celtic dress. It's not green, though. It's light blue. It's my favorite color. And I have tons of hair accessories with flowers, including a crown. So that could be a reality. We'll see. We will see. My prediction, Macy will get her demon powers back, and this will be the difference in the group of charm ones defeating the perfecta. I need them to do a showdown that does not take 5 minutes, because I'm so disappointed whenever we have them fight anybody, and it's just like that battle lasted like 5.5 minutes, and we had all this build up for a 5.5 minute showdown, and it's irritating. Like even with Aunt Viv, it was kind of a letdown for me, in a way. So I don't know. I want to see I want to see the perfecti tearing through the city. Like, we're looking at Endgame, or we're looking at, Avengers, and, basically battling, every alien from the Kree on in New York City. I want them to tear shit up. Like when Superman was going through Smallville and setting everything up and took out half of Metropolis and Man of Steel. I need this to be the battle between the charm ones and the perfecti. I need this in my life. Now, do the CW do they have the budget for this? Probably not, because they give all their money to Superman and Lois, but they can borrow the set for a day. I don't know. They just need to make this an epic battle. I don't want to have a half-ass fight between them. Macy got so mad she almost killed Mel. Yeah, she did. She was in her feelings. She was in her feelings. Macy's dad reminds me of my dad. That's just how black dads speak. When my dad told me I was in trouble, I knew I was seriously effed up. At least your dad told you. My daddy did not tell me. I knew I was in trouble when the extension cord came out. I was like, well, there. I was like, so I've chosen death. Like, let's see. I wish Macy could see that Abby was crawling into the crate because she was just like, what are you doing? And then just like left, like, okay. And I know, right? They just like left that little statement right there. I wanted her to talk more about the crate. But I mean, I guess they pushed the point home when she was like electrocuting her 2-year-old. Watch Abby redeemed and then save Mel and sacrifice herself. I will lose it. But you won't kill baby Abby. Are you going to do another Motherland, Fort Salem, and Charm video? You mean comparison video? Maybe. I did the teaser for Motherland. I'm not sure if you were in that one or not. If not, I posted it yesterday. The little short 2-minute teaser / theory season 2 video for Motherland, Fort Salem. I think I'm going to be comparing Charmed a lot to this season from what I'm seeing, but I have to wait. I need to watch at least the first episode of season 2 to make my comparisons. But I have no problem comparing characters because there are a lot of similarities, even though the shows are nothing alike. So, yeah. Did Abby have fire powers prior, though? Abby had the ability to take fire from already, like, sources that already had fire, like candles. Like, anywhere that had a fire source, she could pull fire and use it. But it has to be something that's by her. But Macy can just generate fire, and she didn't have that ability. So, yeah. But she does now. Abby didn't steal her powers. Macy consenting to having her powers siphoned by a dagger known to siphon magic. I know. I mean, in retrospect, she wanted all of her demon stuff gone. And it's just like what Abby said. You know, I didn't steal it. It was in this little bucket, and I pulled it out because you didn't want it anymore. So it was in the lost and found. And I found it. But there, you know, all the people that hate Abby are like, she's such a manipulative bitch. I'm telling you right now, a lot of Abby haters are probably in their feelings. And I don't like using the word haters. I don't like using that because, again, everybody's justified in how they feel. I have to respect everybody's differences because that's just fair. If I want people to respect my opinion, I need to respect other people's. But I get literally attacked over Abby and Scylla from Motherland, Fort Salem, and Macy, like so much, like attacked. Like people come at me in comments that I don't approve because I don't want anybody to see some of the horrible stuff people say because they're into feelings about imaginary characters. So I already know that this episode has made a lot of people upset. A lot of people. Because anytime you redeem someone that other people in the fandoms think are, you know, irredeemable, yeah, and then the show tries to redeem them, they like literally lose it. And which I think is really interesting is there's one person that I can think of that I don't even know is a regular of my channel from day one who is so against Abby being redeemed, but has no problem with Alice being redeemed on Batwoman. And if you watch Batwoman, you'll see the hypocrisy in that. So putting that out there. She couldn't only manipulate it, not manifest it. Yeah, she couldn't create fire like from thin air. It had to be something that was already there. And Macy is so powerful, she almost killed Mel in ambush. Yeah, Macy has control issues when she's mad. Another plot hole for Charm, Macy being oblivious to Abby stealing her powers. Yeah, I just don't understand that. I really don't. All they could do for the last 4 months was talk. Seriously, they had their own version of COVID. I'm like, hey, remember that time that I was out with Abby and we were investigating this town and she kind of like used your firepower and like killed all these guys that were coming to get us. Did I not mention that, Macy? I'm like, my bad. Ruby and Mel have zero chemistry. I'm glad somebody else is seeing that. And it's so sad because, again, it's not that Ruby is a bad character. She's adorable. She's just wrong for Mel. And Mel sometimes is kind of a bitch. And she was actually my favorite Charm character, like, period. And her writing's been so inconsistent that it drives me insane. Like, how she is in this episode is kind of close to how she used to be. But like how she's been prior to this has been just not a joy to watch. So it's boring to watch. I agree. And plus, her and Ruby in love with each other is very fast. They haven't been with each other long enough. Like they've had one night stands. They had that one talk where they both disagreed about magic. She saw Ruby in the future walking to her grave with her granddaughter. They really have not been seen technically on any dates. They've sat across each other from tables and talked for a minute. They had a fight over an internet girl giving Ruby brownies. And now they're in love. It's the weirdest effing relationship. There's no buildup. There's nothing. I don't understand it at all. I really don't. Have you seen Monica? It's funny. It has a lot of cool references. Hope for a review of Madness. What is wrong with you today? Like, you have said this so many times. Put this in the comments. I don't actually know what that is. So I'm not opposed to reviewing it. I just don't know what it is. So please put that in the comments. I will not remember this if you leave it in this top chat. I just will not remember it. I'm sorry. I won't. She can make it, though. She made a fireball in the episode. They freed all the captured creatures. And that's the thing. That's the only time she's ever demonstrated being able to do that. And we don't know why. And everybody's called that a plot hole. So if this is something that Abby was always able to do, there's no need to take Macy's powers because she essentially has the power. Why talk about this coveted, fire wielding ability if you already have it? It doesn't make sense. So that is a really big plot hole. That's something that I even said in earlier, reviews of this series, that was a plot hole. And I don't know. And it just feels like the writers don't communicate. That's what it is. Ruby and Mel don't have chemistry for me. They never resolved that plot from season 2. And then they just started the relationship back up like nothing happened. Yep. They were on the bridge like, well, what now? And it's just like, hey, girl, we still on for next Friday? I'm like, what the hell is happening? This is not how relationships work. It's not. But when is Maggie going to get her energy projecting powers back? Good question. Good question. I don't know why she needed to put a truth serum into Abigail when she could just influence her into telling her and just calm her down, make her feel like being honest because she has those emotion push powers. But I guess a potion works too. Abby could manipulate and throw fire, but Macy could throw fire and cast it. Yeah, she can manipulate it from when she could find fire. Like if I just had a lighter, she could pull the fire from the lighter and then do whatever. So let's see. I do appreciate the fact that Mel apologized to Abby. I was very happy about that. Abby and Mel have so much more chemistry than Mel and Ruby. I know. And obviously the writers have to be doing something with this. Why did you even put this in the show? I mean, why did you have Abby just come out and say it? You could have let this whole debate of does Abby like Mel or the fans just nuts forever. You literally made it valid by not only making Abby say it, making her say it under a Charm One's truth serum. So you cannot deny it now. You cannot deny it. And I mean, it's freaking obvious. Macy is very powerful. She is. I mean, she's the oldest. She's supposed to be the most powerful. Can they please provide an explanation as to why Macy is the only one who got her original powers while Maggie and Mel didn't? I find this plot hole so annoying. It makes zero sense. I know. And like, okay, so I kind of feel like both Maggie and Mel got kind of like distorted versions of their former abilities. So yeah, Mel can no longer stop time, but she can speed things up and decrease the speed of things to the point where they freeze or catch on fire. Hence her fire ability and her ice ability, her Elsa and Firestorm, powers. Technically speaking, so Maggie still has premonition power. She's able to see the future. Sometimes it will. But she also has instead of having like her whole like I could never figure out if she was telepathic or empathic, because sometimes she would hear what people were saying and sometimes she would feel what they were feeling. I felt like she was empathic and telepathic. She doesn't have that anymore, but instead she has the ability to make you feel whatever she wants. And I kind of feel like Maggie got an upgrade, Mel got a downgrade, and Macy got her powers back. Plus, she was also able to, a club scene, she was able to freeze the audience. So it's almost like her telekinesis was able to like immobilize. So like an immobilization power. I have to look up the technical terms. So I'm sure they have it all written out by now, but I haven't had time. But yeah, it's really interesting to me, the power scopes. And I feel like Mel, once again, is getting shafted. Let's see. She is the source. I mean, technically, not anymore, but she was. I'm sorry, but Mel and Ruby's relationship was like watching paint dry. Such a setting. It's sad when us as queer people, LGBT members, look at an LGBT representation couple as a very rare and just recognize that they are boring as hell. Like they're just boring. Like I mean, so they're just boring. Abby Mel needs to be endgame. I agree. Maggie doesn't have that power set anymore. She has a different magical aura like Mel. Yeah, she still has premonitions though, because she's used them in season 3. Like she was when they were looking for the demon, one of the first ones that got out of the Tomb of Chaos, the one that could make you do things because you loved him so much, like kill your boyfriend or whatever. She touched the ground and was able to see him, like where he was and what he did. So she still has her she still has her premonition powers, but she has her force emotion push stuff now, which is interesting. Last episode, Abby crate scene was textbook gaslighting from her mom. Abby was completely helpless in regards to her mother. Yep. Her mother is an abusive bitch. I mean, she is. And she was smug about it. She even sat there when they put Abby back in the tomb. She was smiling. And she was like, just like your father. So that tells me you had a relationship with Alistair. This wasn't a one-night stand. He dumped you and you bitter. That's what that is about. Let's see. I honestly feel like Macy is acting more like Phoebe was when she was with Cole, and that literally Hasty and people around her, sisters, herself, and Harry are literally blind to her BS and anger issues. Yeah, true fans of Macy. Like I don't hate Macy. I see Macy as a complex person. She's got a lot of facets to her, and anger is one of them. She is angry as hell. There's no way you can't see that. She was raised apart from her sisters. She was a sister that was always alone, who always felt alone, felt like she was ostracized, felt like her mother didn't want her. And then she learned it was because she had her mother had an allergy to her that would have killed her if they were around each other. Of course she's angry. And then the guy that she was in love with sacrifices himself to save people in Hilltown, like Gavin, basically, and died. And then you become the source. And then when you're the source, you basically live your best life. You get rid of Mel and make her the problem. And then you take over and have you, Maggie, and your mom living your magical life. And then that proved, she basically gave all that up. And then she gets a job where it's a dream job, but they get attacked by Jimmy, and she has to give up her entire career and all of her plans and her identity as a scientist. And it's just been one thing after another. That girl is angry because she never went to therapy and she didn't deal with her shit. That's what that is. That is what it is. That is a natural response. If I went through all that stuff, I'd be angry too. And yeah, but she did almost kill Mel. She almost killed Mel multiple times, like accidentally. Let's see. I like how Godric was name dropped again. Maybe he will come back into play soon. I like how they said it. Could Godric be a character witness? Yes. The guy who wanted to be Overlord and another demon. Not their best choice. I'm mentally preparing myself for the Ruby Mel Abby drama. I'm here for it. I'm scared, though, that they're not going to have Abby in it anymore. And I'm hoping that we see Waverly. I want to see her and her sister. I think that the sister is brainwashed by the mother. So that's going to be interesting. Macy is not a biological demon, so she cannot be related to them. She's part demon by magic and necromancy. She's undead, really. Yeah, I mean, she's pretty much, she was dead and was brought back by necromancy. Yeah, with demon blood. And the demon blood that brought her back was like a demon blood that was supposed to, I guess, they did a whole episode on it where it was demon blood that was supposed to make them like super demons or like horrible, like the most horrible demons in the magical world, probably prime source material. So yeah, it's her demon blood. Her demon side was a mess. Like it was a mess. I know, but Macy got her exact power of telekinesis back, so it makes what happened with Mel and Maggie not make sense. I agree with that. We have a lot of problems with their powers. I don't understand it at all. Have Ruby and Abby got together, watch Mel explode. Well, that whole scene where Ruby came to the door and Abby was like, "Who's at the door, Mel or whatever?" And then Mel's like upset at Abby saying, "You did that on purpose." Now we know that Abby really did do it on purpose because she likes Mel and she was jealous. She was brought back by blood, so she's related. The blood gave her life. Yeah, by definition, she's not considered a half demon because her parent is not demon. She has the blood of a demon. So it's almost like becoming a vampire by being bitten and sharing blood or whatever. I'm not ready for Abby and Mel edit for 2 reasons, because I feel like they're going to give Abby the cold treatment. Yep. Should this relationship even be pursued, and wouldn't want her to deal with that. I absolutely agree with that. Everything that she's going to do will be under a microscope and scrutinized and wrong, and it's going to tear them apart. And it probably won't even come from Mel. It'll come from the sisters. Because let's be clear. Mel did not start calling, basically Abby trash until Macy was putting in her head, "Why are you always defending her? She's not worth it." Because Macy was the one saying that to her. And then Mel started saying it. So, I have not seen Modoc Madness for the 4th or 5th time. I need you to put that in the comments. I'm hoping that's just a thing that's happening and it's just posting it over and over again. If that's the case, I'm sorry. Maggie and Mel changed the most from their charmed experience. I guess how a witch power's expression itself is from their aura. Mel didn't have the control streak and Maggie didn't have the insecurity. That could be a thing. I just love the fact that Mel was the definition of a true time witch. That's so annoying. The Perfecti themselves are narcissists. They were willing to take a child's soul to make Harry mortal. That's true. They are criminals. And then naming it souls, softeners is just horrible. It's like a stool softener for your soul. That triggered the power sets. Yeah, the power, like the witch basically personality-wise and their spirituality determining their powers is very interesting. Because I would reassign a lot of powers if we're going by how people actually are. Let's see. I think the guy from Iron Man, the big brain head guy. We're going to talk about this, Ray. What are you talking about? I thought the end of this episode was going to cut to Maggie having a breakdown. I swear I couldn't handle more uncontrollable sobbing. I thought she was going to have an anxiety attack because she's been having them and she hasn't had one in a minute. But yeah, this is not going to go. Jordan is such an instrumental force of support for not only her, but for Harry and the sisters. They are losing their support system because Harry's going to be living his best life. And if he becomes mortal, he's going to be locking himself in the room with Macy for a while. So they're not even going to have their sister. So yeah, it's going to be a thing. It is going to be a thing. I feel really bad for Maggie, but I think Maggie's going to make a bad choice and use Antonio as a rebound. That's what I think is going to happen, which is why she's having all those premonitions about him. Let's see here. I just don't like the magical powers anymore. I find them so cool before, and they kind of ruined it now. She just affects emotions, and I highly doubt she'll get levitation like Phoebe. Yeah, probably not. They're trying to separate themselves from the OG charm. So more than likely, you're right. I don't think they are going to have the same power sets that we're used to. Modoc is a claymation cartoon on Hulu based on the Marvel villain Modoc. Oh yeah, Eloy told me about that. I'll have to check it out. Maggie has the most potential to be a great elder. That's not a compliment. Sorry, I typed up mine so much. It seemed like you missed my comment at first. If I ever miss a comment, instead of retyping it, you can do it a couple of times. Just put it, like, when this video is over, just put it in there because I do read them all. Even if I can't answer them all, I do read them. So just put it in the actual comment section of this video and I will get to it. Okay. I'm about to watch Army of the Dead. Yeah, I'm ending the stream a little early. So we have about 6-ish minutes left. And then I'm going to go watch Army of the Dead with my family too, because I'm excited. I want to see how messed up this is. And I love, 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 love horror movies. And I love zombie movies. I don't know why. I hate cannibal movies, but I like zombie movies. That's hypocrisy in motion right there. Watch Army of the Dead earlier today. It's actually really good. Okay, I'm excited. Marvel made a new adult claymation comedy about Modoc. Okay. Macy not telling Jordan her feelings was selfless of her because she knew he had to leave and focus on himself, just like she had to focus on herself. I agree. I will support that. She's also in psychology major, so maybe that's why she's learning. Okay, maybe you need to do you. You need to do you for a while. I get it. I hope there's a magical consequence for Harry becoming mortal. In the universe isn't have it your way. There has to be a price. I agree with that, and I think it's going to be he's going to age too quickly. There's going to be a side effect, and the Perfecti did say that if he does it, it can never be undone. But he's going to Celeste for it. So shouldn't Celeste have already told him how to be that? I mean, you would think Celeste would know. She made them white lighters. Why can't they make Mel immortal? Good question, actually, because Harry has no character. I just don't want Harry to be the focus like he was all last season, because he had a lot of screen time at the expense of a lot of character development for everyone else. Sorry, I meant to say Maggie. Okay. The Charmed Ones had their one chance during the reversing the allergy, and like Raven from Ruby, the Perfecti avatars were like, you had your shot and now you get no more favors. Well, yeah. And then Ruby, he did say, don't fall. Now we know what he meant by that. These premonitions, I guess. I'm planning on checking out Army of the Dead later. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do a review on it. I don't know if it's going to be a spoiler or just my overall impressions. More than likely, though, I'm going to do, because I love this movie. So I'm going to do a review on that one. I actually feel bad for Abby. I've been feeling bad for Abby from the beginning because I knew she was messed up. I mean, she literally said her story. My mother treated me like shit and my father tried to kill me. There's your support system. I mean, as somebody whose mother died of cancer and whose father really is not that good of a person, I can relate. So, yeah. And what's so interesting to me is this, when she's literally talking to her mother, and she's like, you never saw the witch in me because you didn't want to. You didn't even try. All you saw was your mistake. It would be like my mother being Scottish, being white, having me with my dad who's Black and Native American, and then constantly reminding me that I was too Black and too Native American and not white enough, and that that was a problem, and then beating the hell out of me and sticking me in a crate and electrocuting me. I mean, that is child abuse. She would be under the jail for that. But in the magical world, I guess it doesn't matter. That is so messed up. And yet you expect somebody to be normal? I mean, you expect the child that goes through that since the age of 2 years old, being shocked and electrocuted at 2 years old, to be a normal, thriving individual. She made it sound like she intentionally set her school on fire. She intentionally burned the woods down. She couldn't control herself, and you never taught her. Yeah, it's so messed up. They're going to do OG and move to vanquish the source instead of the Hallow line. They're going to summon the prior charm line to have enough power to vanquish them. That would be cool. I would be down for that episode. I hope Macy got more demon powers when she gets her powers back from Abby. Yeah, I wonder if it was always just fire, and like she would use that needle that she got from the Elder to be able to see like visions. But I don't know. I missed tonight's episode, watching it now since I was able to record it. That's good. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, Nylee, because it's a very good episode. Abby can make fire due to being so incredibly hot. She really is. Of course, the blood would send the powers with it. Did Abby get more than fire? That is a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. Because she's already half demon. So I don't know what she would have gotten that she didn't already have through being half demon. I don't know. That's a good question. Antonio is definitely the rebound guy. Yep. Is Antonio the Dan of Reboot Charmed? Probably. Am I the only one scared as to what the Charmed Ones are going to do when they meet Max Franklin, the psychokinetic witch counterpart of the Archibald Tyler Michaels LGBT? Huh. That is a good question. I don't know. I'm scared of, let's put it this way. I'm scared of any new character that they meet or that comes onto their show. Because let's be fair. Josefina is gone. Kevin is gone. I'm like, people keep leaving. Jordan's leaving. Somebody said on a stream the other day that Abigail's actress Poppy is leaving, or she said something along the lines of my last like I just filmed my last episode of a charm. That makes me concerned. I don't know. I'm very concerned about anybody that they meet. I feel like Harry never says anything about anything. He has the whole other family that fell into the plot of Tartarus. So why would he mention Abby's new powers? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I kept saying the entire episode, call Harry, right? I'm like, why? Call your way later. Harry legit appeared at the beginning of the episode and then dipped like, where did you go, sis? Yep. In all fairness, Jordan wouldn't be alive anyways, like the rest of his family, if it weren't for Maggie protecting him. Then Abby stepped in. In a way, he just needed to learn how to defend himself because he was still being attacked and he was off doing things and trying to help witches and stuff without the charm ones. He's done so much for the charm ones and they have done so little for him. Good for Jordan. He's over being everyone's psychologist. Yes, and not being paid. It's expensive, man. I know the craft and at times practice when given the chance here and there, but one thing for certain is that there's always consequences, whether it's white, gray, or black. Yeah. I mean, if actions have consequences, of course, magic's going to have some kind of fallback or pushback on you when you do something. So, but they don't seem to really have a lot of that with the charm ones in this universe. Charm should do a crossover with Legends. I'd love to see the charm toss up around like a soggy pillow. That would be funny. I would like to see the charm ones on any Arrowverse show. I think that would be effing hilarious. On River, I don't think the male ever had a consistent relationship. Although Kevin's had 3 or 4. I actually made a video about this on my Approach the Yuri channel. You'll see I did a timeline of his 3 relationships. And I'm like, so messed up. And don't get me started with Tony and Cheryl. Maggie not telling Jordan her feelings for him was selfless of her because she understood he needs to focus on himself. Yeah, I think I read that one, but yeah, this is very true. Clexa, they totally screwed. That was the first one they got me with, was Clexa. I love Clark and Lexa. I was so mad. Oh my gosh, I was in my feelings. Will Josefina and Mel be part of this community? I mean, they need to be. Oh, I also will say back to the whole thing with the CW. Also, Penelope on Legends was that whole situation was messed up. Yeah, they don't know. They don't just kill the gays on CW networks. They make the gays leave. They don't bury them. They just disappear. I'm just waiting for when the girls learn about the personal gain side of consequences and the very high magical cost when it comes to these. I agree with you completely. Okay. I don't trust the Perfecti. I never trusted them. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them either. Okay, a couple of more. Abby, if they all leave in the morning, you're not doing it right. They have to beg you not to leave. Hi, Ray. What is wrong with you? I love you, Ray. His magical trauma and backlash after he got possessed in regards to Jordan after this incident. It's the day complex. I feel so, like I said, I knew as soon as they started showing all the ways that he was sacrificing for them, I already knew he was like, all right, I'm out. I am out. I am out. Okay. I wanted Lena and Sam to get together because I found the relationship to be more stable. As for Kara, it just would end in tragedy. I really want Lena and Kara. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they make sex eyes at each other. It makes no sense. I would prefer that Kara was the one that was a lesbian and not Alex, because Alex, I mean, even though I think Alex and Kelly are cute, if I had to pick a couple, I would prefer Kara to go with Lena because they acted like they were girlfriends for the whole damn show. The whole show, to the fact where Supergirl literally told Lena, you broke my heart. I've never told any of my friends that in life. And I'm queer. So whatever. I guess you could break your friend's heart, but that was just a very emotional girlfriend fight. I feel like we've got no answers about Marisol. I doubt the writers are going to reveal anything because they like making more plot holes. Amen. I've been saying that from day one. They're like, your mother was really effed up, but you need to really love her and treat her like a saint because you were the charmed ones and she was an elder. I'm like, okay. It's not how that goes, but that's fine. And this is going to, I'm trying to get down because I know I need to scroll down a little bit. Okay. This is going to be our last comment. I'm scared of how these Vera Vaughn going to deal with Kevin's counterpart from the OG series. A very power with the power of thought projection, and he was literally raised by a demon and he turned. Huh. That would be cool. But I don't think we're ever going to see this version of Kevin again. Because Kevin was cast as a transgendered or trans male character, basic transgender character. And then we had Josefina. When Josefina came into play, we didn't have Kevin anymore. It's like they have a quota of how many people can be trans on the show. That's what it feels like. And now Josefina's gone back to Puerto Rico, apparently, for God knows why the hell she decided to do that with the family, threw her out of the house. And then Kevin, high five Mel, like 4 or 5 episodes back, and we have never seen Kevin again. Kevin is gone. Josefina went to campus, and that was a perfect opportunity for Mel to say, hey, Josefina, cousin, this is my boy, Kevin. You guys have a lot in common. Nah. Kevin wasn't even a thought. So that's what happens. They have representation, but it's like, I call it, like the minute clinic. It's like minute repping. So they rep something for like a minute, and then they feel like they did a good job, and then they move on. When in reality, they made the situation a hell of a lot worse. So yeah, I have lots of problems with that. But I say it like I see it, call it like I see it, and all the other stuff. I'm old. This, whatever. I love you guys. I'm about to go watch this movie, get my zombie on. I love this episode. My favorite episode of Charmed to date, and that is saying a lot of this series. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, misgivings, whatever, please leave the in the comments below. If you hadn't had a chance to see this episode, also watch it tomorrow. Make sure that you come back and leave your comments and questions and theories and whatever on here, because I do read them and I try very hard to respond to them. I did put the poll out. I know a lot of you guys like having a Friday night Charmed. I wanted to make sure you didn't want me to move the stream to Saturday. As for the Arrowverse Tuesday poll, I know that the Tuesday one is higher, and for now I'm going to keep it on Tuesday. But when Motherland Fort Salem comes out, it also airs on Tuesday. So we might be doing an after show for Motherland Fort Salem and then moving that Arrowverse stream to Wednesday afternoon. So we'll see. But that's not till June. I think it comes back June 21st. So that's not until next month. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, just want to throw that out there. I'm taking everybody's opinions and requests into consideration. I'm just trying to make the whole streaming schedule work. And I do know that Motherland, we talk a lot about it, and it's a lot fresher when we talk about it right after it airs on Tuesday. So that might be a thing starting at the end of June. So I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, love you guys. If it's night for you, have a good night. If it's day or morning, have a good day. And I will see you during the next video, which should be our Jupiter Legacy video, which will be posted tomorrow. So love you guys. Bye.